amount of damage PsY was able to do with these roaches and with the Zerglings, though we see the Zerglings getting caught behind the roaches at this point as well. But kind of a stalemate for these two players. These cannons are popping just in time to ward away the remaining units of PsY. But going back there, ReSpOnSe did have 7 sentries, all with 200 energy, so he could have thrown down so many force fields, really separated the units of PsY, especially off creep. They would have been very slow. So he got up a few force fields at the very end there, but I feel like he wasn't very prepared for that attack. So we see PsY pushing out with even more roaches. He was macroing up very hard during that initial attack, and if we look at the army tab, now 3,600 to the 2,000 of ReSpOnSe. ReSpOnSe does have a little bit of a tech advantage right now, as he can get out the Immortals, and he does have the Blink Stalkers. Stalkers are much faster than roaches, especially off creep. Plus with that blink and their 6 range compared to the 4 range of roaches, they can be very good picking off roaches as they try to retreat. Now we see ReSpOnSe did get up a few High Templar here. Not sure whether he's gotten the lightning yet. Check that out here. Looks like he does have both upgrades for those High Templar, but the PsYstorm is just not very good against these roaches, as they do have 145 health. See, Burrow is complete for PsY right now, and we see the PsYstorm picking off just one roach there, but it's going to do a lot more to those low HP Zerglings, or even the Mutalisks as well with 120 HP. See Burrow going to heal up those roaches just a little bit here. See Tunneling Claws coming out for PsY, so he's soon going to be able to move those roaches. We have a Observer coming in for ReSpOnSe. He definitely wants to see those roaches so they cannot burrow and heal up. More PsYstorms coming in, and PsY just does not have the concave or the creep to take on the army of ReSpOnSe. Going to pull back. If you look at the income tab, pretty even right now. The 67 workers to 62. PsY does have this 4th base up. It is not yet saturated, and he doesn't have it on a hotkey either. So see, he does have these the 3 different hatcheries right now are all hotkeyed together with their queen. We see a Nidus coming in for PsY right now, so he's flooding into the base of ReSpOnSe. Looks like he's going to be able to do minimal damage here. ReSpOnSe responding quickly to this attack. Took down, I think, a pylon or 2 there. Missed that initially. But now that he has this Nidus on the field, he's really going to be able to, like he's throwing down a second one here, really going to be able to pull ReSpOnSe's army every which way. ReSpOnSe has fallen into the 1 control group syndrome, so he has all of his units in that first control group, all 33 units right now. And if PsY is able to push at this expansion, and this back as well, he can really do some great damage. See ReSpOnSe coming in for PsY's 4th here. Again, not quite saturated, no queen yet, not even on a hotkey, so PsY might have actually forgotten about this. He's going to remember now, and it is going to be taken down by ReSpOnSe. PsY does have these roaches coming out of the Nidus Swarm here. They are not able to be seen, and now finally coming out and going to be able to take down a lot of probes here once they work through these cannons. Also attacking at the front here to this gold expansion. So a multi-prong attack. ReSpOnSe's army was a little bit away there, trying to take down that 4th hatchery of PsY. So we're going to focus down this Nexus with 2 upgrades now doing 20 damage. These roaches are, and these roaches in the natural of ReSpOnSe took down those cannons. Looks like we did have a few PsYstorms went off, but now healing up completely and going to be able to do great damage. ReSpOnSe is pushing back this initial attack. May try to push into the natural of PsY here, do some damage. He has not put any pressure on PsY the entire game outside of those first 3 minutes. PsY doing more and more damage, taking down so many probes here, as we do see the probes all long distance mining to that gold. ReSpOnSe now pushing in here. Those Immortals on the front line being focused down very quickly by PsY. Now Blink being used. Not as much Blink Micro in this game as I'd like to see, as Blink very powerful tool against these roaches, but ReSpOnSe now factoring that into his Micro here. Going to do a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be able to push past these reinforcing roaches of PsY. Another 11 roaches about to pop out, and the roaches in the natural of ReSpOnSe are just going to town, now taking out assimilators. Going to take as much guaranteed damage as you can. If you start working on this Nexus, you might not get it down in time, but taking down those low HP units, taking down all the probes, could be focusing down this probe line as they move in here. But it looks like PsY was able to repel that. Now has his army of overlords here, perhaps making target firing more difficult. And now ReSpOnSe going to come back and finally clean up. Look at all these kills on these roaches. Roaches did so much damage, able to take down a number of pylons, stop mining on this base completely for at least 90 seconds there. And then because he was just on this one mining base, ReSpOnSe's income plummeted there. Size as well has gone down quite a bit as we look. Both players lost quite a few workers in the two encounters here, down to 36 for ReSpOnSe and 48 for PsY. But PsY, off of these three hatcheries, now this fourth hatchery, he made a proxy here, is going to be able to macro up a little bit harder than ReSpOnSe. If you look at the minerals, PsY does have the mineral advantage, quite a bit of gas as well, so perhaps taking a few drones off of gas, getting on minerals would be a smart move here, as he does have, it looks like 6 geysers up and running fully. Roaches are not very heavy on gas, as we see ReSpOnSe finally figuring out that this Nidusworm is back here. See an Overseer moving in here, perhaps for some more contaminate. But again, PsY has a ton of gas here. I'd like to see him perhaps pull off drones off the gas there, as the roaches are very cheap gas-wise. Actually a pretty cheap army all around. They do take up the 2 food, so you can't get as many as you might be able to with some of the other units that might take out 2 food, maybe a little bit more powerful. Now we see PsY moving in here, trying to secure this fourth again. Going to use Burrow, but this Observer is going to give ReSpOnSe sight, and now going to be able to try to focus down these roaches. Could be doing some blink here. Yes, he's going to do that. And PsY really needs to focus down that Immortal. Immortal with the 3 upgrades now doing 65 damage to those roaches. So it looks like ReSpOnSe is going to be able to clean up the forces of PsY. More roaches coming out onto the field for PsY, constantly reinforcing here. And looks like this fourth is just not meant to be, as ReSpOnSe should be able to get this down before PsY is able to make it with his reinforced roaches. If we look at the army tab for both players, pretty even, 1875 to 1550 right now. If we look at the income, ReSpOnSe actually with a slight advantage, as PsY did lose a lot of drones there. He tried to transfer to this fourth, and I think he lost quite a few in the encounter there. Does need to get up his macro a little bit more, needs to get these last few minerals out of here, and then needs to get this this fourth up. Whichever player is able to get up another mining base is going to be able to take a huge advantage in this game, as both players have a moderate 2,000 mineral army right now, and just their economy is quite crippled off of 1 base each with very few minerals. See ReSpOnSe taking all the free damage you can get. Anytime you're able to take down overlords and try to sidecap the other player, force them to make overlords, it's good, just free damage. Just like PsY was taking those free pylons when he attacked the natural. Looks like the queens have moved out for PsY here. And really something I'd like to see him do earlier in the game, start spreading these creep tumors. He's got a lot of energy stored up on these queens, so he could have been spreading them 3 or 4 at a time. And roaches are just so good, all Zerg units, much better on creep. Really have the advantage, able to spread out, getting a good concave, able to attack, move, scoot and shoot a lot easier. So we see now using all this energy for transfuses here. I'd like to say great transfuses, but really any transfuse that you see in a game is going to be pretty good, as Zerg is not able to heal up besides the transfuse use. It can really turn these battles. As you see, he should have lost perhaps 4 or 5 more roaches at this point, and his numbers would have been down to just 2 or 3, and ReSpOnSe might have been able to clean that up. But now PsY moving out again with more reinforcements, just droning or roaching very hard here, and now going to try to deny this gold expansion. ReSpOnSe does need to cancel this before it goes down. It looks like he did not actually get that cancel off, so now PsY's going to be able to push in, perhaps clean up these remaining units of ReSpOnSe, and we get a GG from ReSpOnSe. So we saw the early contain with the forge there on the bottom of PsY's ramp. PsY didn't pick a early counter to it. See a lot of Zergs take the 4 or so drones and just start working on the pylon, try to get up the second hatchery as soon as possible. He was very patient. He got up the baneling nest. He took his time with it, and during that time ReSpOnSe was really probing quite hard. He got up his economy up and running. Maybe even could have thrown up a Nexus, but I feel like he was just a little too passive. especially in the mid-game around the 10-minute mark. He should have pushed out with his forces, forced PsY to make more Zerglings, perhaps throw down a Spine Crawler, costing quite a bit of economy when you create Zerglings or the Spine Crawler. Instead, PsY was just creating drones 7, 9 at a time, and was able to get his 3 bases up and running with about 65, 70 workers quite quickly, and then picked the very economic Roach unit, got it upgraded 2-2 right now, and was able to do a lot of good damage with Roaches and Nidus play. So ReSpOnSe was just not able to press the advantage at the start. Kind of gotten into single control group syndrome as well, so the Nidus play was even more effective, especially at this natural here. So these two practice players, I'm sure, are learning quite a bit playing each other. Hopefully ReSpOnSe is able to transition into a little better mid-game off of that initial contain. And PsY did a good job all around in this game. I'd like to try to bring you more games as I find them of his. As always, you can check out more of my games, Matron StarCraft, at YouTube. Be sure to check out PsY as well. He doesn't have as many subscribers as he deserves, I feel. Does have quite a few, but really think that he should be one of the top casters out there, along with Husky and HD, have subscribers up to their level. So check out his games, especially if you're a Zerg player. You're going to learn a ton. And as the other two races, you're going to learn a lot of what really irks him, and you're going to be able to tailor your TVZ or PVZ to implement those things. So hopefully you enjoyed this cast. I do like watching his games. Think he's a very creative player, along with a great caster. So check out more of my games. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.